Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 412 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined today, not by Willie Sailor.
Not today.
APB out for Willie. He's in Iowa City somewhere. We don't know. We'll find out later. To my left, Daniel Roy Lobdell Jr. He's the Wrestling Nomad on Twitter. To my right, Andrew Spencer Spay. And we're in straight ahead with the Eagle of Freedom and the Bronco of Destruction, our very own Stephen Kyle Brackey. Stephen Kyle, hello.
Good morning, friends.
Good morning. It's Who's Number One week. Brackey is not going. He is on house arrest until the baby comes and until the baby is 8?
Yeah,
So
approximately.
Approximately 8. Ooh. So no Brackey at Who's Number One, but Danny Roy's going. No
Sure
Andrew
as heck
Spencer.
No, I'm holding down the fort with Kyle.
Hey, and so very quick, I'm not going to be on the show very long because I have a flight this morning, but I wanted to be on for a little bit. Only because Willie wanted to talk to me about the tattoo situation. He's like, it'll be funny. I'll try to convince you not to get the tattoo. I'll be like, okay, great, I'm in. Because I wasn't going to be on the show, and then here I am, and then whatever, it's fine. There's still
You could be hanging out in an airport lounge right now.
I could be. Here's the thing.
Lounge life.
Spay goes to the airport early so he can hang out in the lounge.
Now the Delta Lounge just opened up in the Austin airport. That was a pretty big day for me. Bader taught me the ways of lounge life when you travel, and now I have to live it. There's no going back.
I've never been in a lounge, and I'm okay with that. So
You shouldn't be.
it is. I shouldn't be okay with that.
Yeah, you should not be okay with it.
Okay.
It's luxurious.
Yeah.
I went one time with Bader. It was pretty cool.
I don't want to see. I don't want. See, I don't have access.
I don't have anything
Goosebumps
else
from Kyle
to add.
Yeah,
Brackey.
not a ringing endorsement. Is that decent?
That's actually a pretty good endorsement from Kyle.
It was good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't want to know. It's almost like I'd rather not know.
Yeah, you're better off just sticking to the food court that you know and the metal chairs that squeak when you push them in and out and
They
the long
do.
lines for the bathroom. That's way better.
Yeah, it is way better. Now, let's talk about one AJ Ferrari.
Fast cars.
Fast cars. The man is going to Oklahoma State. We didn't know where he was going. Kind of felt like maybe Oklahoma State, but whenever Penn State's involved, it's kind of like it's probably going to be them, right? But it wasn't in this case. He's going to Oklahoma State. So thoughts on the live stream on our Instagram and the decision for AJ to head to Oklahoma State?
I loved all of it. First of all, that was a party. They had 60, 70, 80 people there.
Yeah.
So good job to Ferrari family and friends for showing out for their boy. And then wrestling oftentimes cannot get out of its own way and we'll say, we'll start at 7:30 and it starts like 7:45. Not this time. Mr. Ferrari and Brackey
Not
was
at
just
the
pointing this out
Ferrari
before
house.
Not
yeah.
the Ferrari house.
Brackey was pointing this out before the show. Mr. Ferrari came on 7:30. They said a prayer. They knocked it out, got it done, and I thought it was a very good stream.
Yeah.
Rating the stream?
Stream quality.
You
was
asked
good.
how the stream was.
It was
Okay, I'm
punctual.
sorry I didn't get specific. What was the bandwidth?
No, the stream quality was good, though.
Great. A strong Wi-Fi at the Ferraris. Not surprising. Was more, the kid, number one pound for pound wrestler in the country, going to Oklahoma State to wrestle for John Smith. Thought that would be more topical, but yes, glad to know you had great clarity.
Yeah, I like Nomad said, it was a party, all the smiles from everybody in the family. They're having fun, and wrestling is a tough enough sport as it is, so when you have a fun moment like that you can share with your family, and you want people to see it, and people are interested, and you come up with a quick and easy way to do that, to let everybody in on the moment, and they get to experience it with you, how can you not like it?
Let's talk about the wrestler going to the school. Stephen Kyle Brackey, help me out. What do you think? How does he fit at Oklahoma State?
I think he fits in great there. A lot of Italian Americans, and he can also.
He's big on Italian Americanism.
Yes, you got.
It's a big thing.
We laugh about it and kind of joke around about it, but it means a lot to him, and is important to him. So, I think he's a great fit there. If he wants to get big and go to heavyweight, it's the perfect school for that because of their track record with the Cowboy bulk jobs.
Yes.
If he wants to wrestle 97, there's a spot there for him. So either way he wants to go, he's going to fit into that lineup really well. And Oklahoma State with a heck of a recruiting class in 2020 now.
Give us the sitch.
Yeah, so they now have number 1 and 2 commits in the class in Ferrari and Plot.
Okay, helpful.
Then you got number 11, Trevor Mastro Giovanni, number 20, Jason Burks, 28, Luke Serber, and number 78, Connor Doucette.
Okay.
That's really good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Hey, also another thing, just while we're on the Oklahoma State topic, Bryan Balmaceda is a 41 on the roster for Oklahoma State.
My goodness.
This man wanted like a 5-pound allowance for 152 at Who's Number One or something like that, and now he's arrived at Stillwater and the roster says 141.
What are they doing to that man?
I don't know. I guess he had a little more pudding than we realized.
Yeah, the slim job.
Yeah, they can. Oklahoma
up
State
and
can
down.
get you in
They
either
go both
direction.
ways.
You can be your best self in the small or large version. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting note. Willie actually sent me that. So I don't know if they'll. I mean, you would think G is going to be the 41, right? But
Yeah.
I guess a little plan B there at 141.
Contingency plans never hurt.
Maybe get Brevin down to 33 since Dayton's out. I don't know. Who's to say?
As Bracky said, so 6 of the top 78 and 5 in the top 30, right? Very conceivably, they could have almost the entire back half of their lineup. We project Serber as a 74, Plot is an 84, Ferrari is 97, and Doucette is heavyweight. So they're looking at, and then the front end of their lineup, you got Jason and Trevor, both of whom are wrestling in Who's Number One this weekend, at 25 and 33 in some order. So they kind of got the ends of their lineup, I would imagine, set from this recruiting class.
It's the kind of recruiting class where you obviously build on it. So as they get into the system and they are underclassmen and they start figuring out what weighed and they have their proven track records, then you can fill in with transfers if they need to. Oklahoma State has brought in junior college guys like Jacoby Smith. Mm-hmm. They brought in transfers. They brought in Dakota Gear, who All-American, Andrew Chalmers, who was great depth for them that they needed at the middleweights last year. So once those guys get in there and find their placement, then you can perfect your lineup. So in a couple few years, that's going to be a real salty team.
I'm also thinking outside of Kyle Haas and Carter Young in the class of 2021, 2 guys who I think are going to end up going there but haven't committed yet. I'm not sure what their 2021 class is going to look like, and if because they're putting so much resources in 2020, if they're gonna have a small 2021 class and then go back big in 2022 again, which is a group that's currently sophomores, 2022.
Okay. So that's the commitment. That's Oklahoma State. What?
We didn't talk about Clayton Ulray committing.
Yeah, VT.
Cadet World team member, PA finalist. And that gives Virginia Tech now 5 in the top 75 in 2020 with number 15, Sammy Hilligus, number 19, Ulray, number 23, Eddie Van Treska, number 24, Hunter Katka, number 75, Sam Fisher.
So really all those are the top 25 except for Fisher.
Right.
So
he's top 75.
Four in the top 25.
Yeah.
And then plus number 75. That's an impressive haul from the Hokies.
Got to be feeling good if you're a Hokie fan.
You got to be feeling great about that if you're a Hokie fan.
Yeah.
Fisher's good upside too, and in state, so probably didn't cost them a whole lot. So that's a good get for them. But I would say they're probably number 2 then, right, Bracky? I'd say Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, and then it's hard because Penn State's got Robbie and Bo, so they're even with just those 2 guys, they're probably still third.
Cornell's going to be up there again with Josh Saunders, Greg D, Cole Handlovic, Ethan Hatcher, all in the top 44, plus Cedeno.
What about Wisconsin?
Wisconsin, they will. I mean, they're going to be in, I would imagine, in the top 10 with Medora, Zargo, and Amos. It's only a 3-person class there right now. In 20. 2 of the guys that just committed are 2021 with Hamidi and Kappas.
Got it. All right, that's a good class
right,
for them.
I think.
Yeah, I think you did.
And then that only leaves Jesse Vasquez as the last big chip. Number 10 right now on the big board. Again, we'll see him at Who's Number One this weekend as well. And then, kind of drops off to number 30, Dom Matas is the next highest available guy. So, and I believe I found last night 83 or 84 of the top 100s committed. So 2020, all the pieces are just about set. And signing day is 40 days away.
40 days till signing day.
November 13th.
Any leads on Jesse Mendez or Vasquez?
Vasquez? No. I'm actually really hoping to get to talk to him this weekend about it. He confused a lot of people with his Instagrams because he posted some pictures of him that look like the graphics that kids post when they commit. However, they were just offers. And so it's Ohio State, Michigan, who I know he's taking a visit to Michigan, Iowa, who obviously will be at Iowa this weekend, Cornell, and Arizona State.
Okay, breaking news from Iowa City. We found our man. Willie Sailor is here. I'm not sure where he was. Nomad thought there was actual breaking news. I don't know if we're going to see Willie. Pull Willie up. We're ready to check in. Willie, how are you? Are you there? Can't hear him. Can't hear Willie. But
We're all checking.
What?
He's
on the wrong call. All right, great radio. This is good. This is stuff you work out before it starts, I guess. All right.
It's endearing. It shows
All right.
that
Well, we know he's not dead, so at least we have that breaking news from Iowa City. That may be the extent of Willie on FRL because I don't know what's going on. He says he's on the wrong call. I don't even know what that means, but we can't hear him.
And there's no words there.
There's no word. There's no words there.
I don't know what that means.
Bill O'Reilly. I don't know what that means. Okay, so we should talk. I have to leave in like 14 minutes. I'm not on the Bader plan when it comes to airline travel.
Oh, you don't like to judge the time you need to get to the gate by when the gate closes. You like to go that time that it says on your ticket. Like when they start boarding, you like to be around in the general vicinity.
Yeah, around in the area. I don't understand this game of chicken that Bader likes to play with the planes, where it's like, how close can I thread this needle where it comes down to me making or missing a stoplight there's nothing. He's just waiting around at the office where he could be waiting around at the
lounge.
At the lounge now. There's no difference.
Well, Delta just opened their lounge in Austin, so there's no reason he ever gets to. There wasn't a reason for him to get to Austin early yet. But yeah, otherwise he's a complete maniac.
Yeah, he told me. Yeah,
he wants to like dive through like the closing door of the airplane, like as the steward, the flight attendants are literally closing it, and he like Indiana Jones style like slides in, like grabs his hair tie, and then gets into the plane
with a little front roll.
Yeah,
he comes out of it with his carry-on bag. Doesn't spill his coffee somehow.
Our flight today is at 3, so I'm expecting him there at about 2:46.
2:46, 4 minutes before the doors close.
Yeah,
and like. The thing is with there's a lot of airport talk. You might hate it, but
a little travel talk.
A little travel talk, very relatable.
For everybody that travels.
For everyone that travels.
15 weekends a year or minimum.
Yeah. I forgot what my relatable thing was as I was saying it, but so yeah, let's just move on. All right. Fine. Let's talk about who's number one a little bit. Some matches you guys are especially excited for. Nomad, give it to me. What are we most excited about?
We are most excited about the 4-man. Big fan of the 4-man bracket format that we've had at Who's Number One and of the group of kids that we have here. We're looking forward to Alex Facundo versus Patrick Kennedy. And we're looking forward to Robbie Howard versus Trevor Mastrogiovanni. Those are probably the 3 things I'm most juiced about.
Who's the biggest underdog, would you say, in Who's Number One?
Biggest underdog.
I'm just trying to provide some bulletin board material. Then when we get to the press conference, I'll say the wrestling nomad Daniel Roy Lobdell Jr. says you are the biggest underdog and have no shot. How do you respond?
I think the biggest underdog on paper is Mr. Sokol against Bo Bartlett.
And we did talk about this on Who's Number One, the show, which is archived and up, but Sokol has some nice big match-ending potential.
Right.
So while he may be an underdog, and Bo Bartlett definitely has the credentials to be the favorite there, he can't let up. He can't take his foot off the gas because that could be a fatal mistake in that match with a guy like Sokol.
He might get hip-tossed on his head, which is not fun.
Okay, so just to give you a rundown of Who's Number One, tomorrow is the press conference is always. Also, we added a match randomly.
Yeah, we did.
Very randomly.
Yeah, we did.
It's just like we woke up and then it's like, wait, this is happening? All right, okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Nick Rodriguez, Pat Downey. All right, why not? I guess why not? Right?
They were willing, and our man Joe Kania was
Shout
working
out
the
Joe
phones.
Kania.
Yeah, he was hustling. He got right back from Kazakhstan and went to ADCC's, and then got back in the office and started working the lines.
Yeah, working the phone lines. Get his jersey connect with Nick Rodriguez, who's this match is gonna be more popular on grappling probably than wrestling, and it'll be popular on wrestling. So excited about that. Excited to get to Iowa. Maybe check out a practice or something like that. What match, Spay or Bracky, are you looking most forward to?
Go ahead, Spay.
Man, we went through this whole list yesterday, like I mentioned, and the thing I like about it is it doesn't really drop off. Like it starts off with that 4-man bracket, and all 4 of those guys are awesome. And then it goes into Jesse Ibarra, Jason Burks. And both of those guys are fun. There's going to be a ton of points on the board. And that is like your third match of a card. And normally that is not where you put an exciting match of wrestlers of that caliber. But there's so many 1s and 2s. You can't go wrong. And then Willie, I think this is a smart idea, added Josh Saunders and Anthony Echemendia. Anthony Echemendia graduated high school, but he really only had a few months of time in America. He's a Cuban national on political asylum and came here, and he's going to be headed to Iowa State sometime soon. He's got a lot of paperwork and stuff to work out, but he's an exciting wrestler. Fargo was like the only time really he got showcased nationally, so Willie wanted to make sure he got some extra time in the spotlight. And Josh Saunders is going to be at the OPTC, the Olympic and Paralympic Training Center, so he's not going to be in high school his senior year wrestling a regular schedule, so he's not in the rankings, but he's a number 1 ranked guy before that, or definitely worthy of being included in who's number 1. They both want to go 145. They both want to wrestle freestyle. That one's going to be fun, and that's right in the middle. That's match number 6. So number 3 and number 6 on a card like this that still ends with the winner of the 4-man bracket and Patrick Kennedy and Alex Facundo. Hard to pick, but I like those. Those are interesting to me, and they should be given a little extra attention, I think.
Okay, round table. Facundo, Kennedy. Who's going to win? Starting with Stephen Kyle.
I'll take Facundo.
Okay.
I will also take Facundo, but I think it's going to be tougher than, it's 1-2, but I mean, it's basically a coin toss, so I'm not putting a lot of confidence points. Not that I don't have confidence in a guy like Facundo, but it's going to be a brawl.
More press conference bulletin board material.
Uh-oh.
Andrew Spade does not have confidence in you, Alex Facundo. How do you respond?
Good thing I'm not going to be there, so I can just...
Willie, currently, you can't see our display screen. We now...
2 Willies.
We got 2 Willies. One completely
Good
still,
Lord.
one not. Say something, Willie. We'll see if we can hear you.
Facundo and Kennedy.
Yeah, we can hear him. Okay. All right.
Yay.
Willie not dead and also hearable. 2 for 2. Willie, right out the gate, who's going to win? Facundo, Kennedy.
I'll take Kennedy.
Same.
Really? I thought you guys were going to rip me for this.
Nope, I got him.
Home field or future home field advantage.
Home ad advantage. Shout out Sam Herring, Jude Swisher.
Is going to come into play. We talked about this on Who's Number One. I think, Kennedy shooting so much is kind of going to play into Facundo's game, and I think Facundo has shown himself to be a little bit better on the mat. And
I think Kennedy's pretty good on top.
He is, but
Kennedy,
as is
yeah,
Alex.
Kennedy wrote me and asked me if there was riding time, and I said no, and he said boo, and so, I don't know how much I've seen him ride, but he was planning on it, or is planning on it.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to see, because one of the things that I was saying was, we were talking about go back and look at Kennedy versus Plot last year at Super 32. Kennedy was playing a lot of catch and release, right? Now, part of that was because he had to catch up to Plot, but I still think right now that it favors Facundo on the mat, and I hope that Kennedy comes out with guns blazing and says, screw all you guys that picked against me. I'm going to show you what a Hawkeye does.
Wow.
Hawkeye does
More-
what Hawkeye does.
But I'm
More
going for
bulletin board
Kundo here.
material.
However, to Space thing about confidence points, I think that would be fun if we all did that, because I think it's 11 or 12 matches. So 1 through 12 confidence points, see who does the best.
Sounds like a fun game among
A
friends.
fun game for pals.
It would be a fun
It'd
game.
be
among
great.
pals.
Be great pal activity. All right, before I go, I got 5 minutes, and Willie wants to try to convince me to not get a tattoo, but I feel like I
Don't
have
get a
to.
tattoo. I don't.
right.
I don't understand why it's a thing.
All right,
mean-
let me explain how this happened, and then because the people may or may not know. So I'm an idiot. They knew that already. Can y'all hear that echo?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I hope the people at home can. I'm taking the earpiece out for the time being while I tell this story because I don't know what the heck's going on. So, at the U.S. Open, talking with Jaden Cox. Not a short conversation. We're talking for a while. He said something about tattoos, and he's talking about them, and we're talking about. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, yeah, I never really wanted a tattoo, never really got one. And he's like, I'll make you a deal, and I was like, oh great, you already know where this is going. And I was like, what? He's like, if I win a world title this year, do you have to get a tattoo? And he kind of like explains to me, like tattoos are very mean a lot to Jaden. And he explains to me like, oh, it won't be bad, I won't do anything. And I'm like, okay, sure, fine. And all the while, completely knowing Jaden's going to win worlds. It's not like, I remember I'm like, Katie, I think I did something stupid. And she's like, well, wait, what? She's like, is he going to make the team? I'm like, yes. And she's like, but how good's the world? I'm like, he's going to win worlds. I'm like, this is going to happen. So all the while I knew it was a stupid thing, and I knew I was going to have to do this. I don't know why I agreed to it. I never got a tattoo, never had any interest in a tattoo, but Jaden mind tricked me. But I was like, you know what? Jaden, we were just talking, and it was just a conversation, and I was like, he's going to forget. He 100% is going to forget, and this is not going to happen. And I was right. He had forgotten. And then snitching Kyle Brackey or Joe Kania.
It was Joe who remembered.
Snitching Joe. If I were Trump, that would be Joe Kania's nickname. Snitching Joe Kania. Snitches on me.
Wow.
And he puts it out there on Twitter. Snitching Joe. So then Ben Askren's retweeting, everyone's retweeting. So then all of a sudden I'm getting in my car. I'm about to call Willie. And I get a call from Columbia, Missouri. And I don't have the number saved. I'm like, oh boy. And sure enough, it was Jaden. And Jaden admitted he had forgotten until he remembered.
He admitted.
Oh,
He admitted it.
He admitted.
And so
Snitch and Joe.
Snitch and Joe screwed me. So now I have to get a tattoo, and he's like, I'll let you pick where you get it, blah, 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 and, we'll kind of agree on what it is. But I had a good idea. I don't know if he'll go for it, but maybe a little media pressure here. I don't know. I was like, because if I have to get the stupid thing, maybe it could at least be something cool. I was like, what if, Jaden, Michael Tabori Cox, what if the tattoo was of your Olympic weight? And then that was like
This is such a bad idea.
hey! And then that was how it was released to the world what Olympic weight you're going.
Like you unpeel the bandage and it's like, somewhere. Here we go.
86. Man, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it somewhere you really can't see it unless I'm like shirtless or
You
something.
just want a number tattooed on you?
I don't know. What else should I get? I don't want a tattoo at all. What should I get? My name? His name? My kid's
your
name? What's a good tattoo? Should I get Thug tattooed on my ankle like Willie?
Yes.
That would be
absolutely.
better than a number.
No, it would not. A tattoo that says Thug on my ankle would not be better than a number. Because then it'd be great. Someone would be like, 86, what does that mean? Or 97, what does that mean? I'm like, oh, let me tell you about Jaden Cox. He's an awesome guy, and I lost a bet because I'm an idiot.
Oh, well, what do you know about the metric system? First of all,
86 pounds? What a small person. Actually, no. It's kilograms.
this man's
Great.
a jockey.
All right, Willie, say your piece.
How you gonna clown on me for having bad tattoos and then say, yeah, I should get a tattoo? Don't get tattoos. They're not a good idea. I have, I don't know, like 6, and all of them should have never happened. They're terrible, and I want them gone. And so the thing is, you don't have 0. So don't start now, and don't start with Jaden Cox's Olympic weight somewhere on your body.
What else should I get? Okay, but if you, I feel like a total like weenie welcher if I don't
say this is what you got to say. I am a man of character and I am a man of my word, Jaden. But in that process of that conversation, I just sort of said, yeah, whatever. Let me make it up to you by, I don't know, community service or a donation to your favorite charity or something. But I don't want to take off my shirt for the rest of my life and go to bed or go to the beach and I have an indelible mark on my body for the rest of my life.
You will have an indelible mark on you.
I will.
I like that you got Jaden mind tricked instead of Jedi mind tricked.
Oh, I did get Jaden mind tricked.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't see a way out of this.
My brother has almost an entire landscape on his back. If you want to
go
full back.
Oh yeah.
I don't want a landscape. I want something small. Two numbers are small.
No
I'm
way.
also going for something little.
Should get your face.
Why don't you
like
get?
Steve-O.
Yeah, you should
Tattoo of your
get
face.
get an 8 on here and then a 6 here. 8. I think you should go with a neck tattoo. If you're gonna go big.
What about a teardrop?
Yeah. I just like you're gonna totally skew the average year that somebody gets their first tattoo. It's like all clustered in like the teens and the early 20s, and then there's the 30-something over here.
It's my quarter life
Scatter
price.
plot.
Tell Jaden you don't want to do it because you're just gonna skew the data.
Yeah, the data will be totally ruined. The average, this curve is gonna be all off.
All right. I have to go get on a flight. I don't know what to do. I got a lot on my mind. I don't know how I'm going to solve this. I don't know how I'm going to get out of it while keeping my integrity in.
Get the name of one of your 7 home cities.
Oh, man. Church. Put the 540 on my back.
Ooh,
right
yeah.
on my heart.
Right there.
Maybe.
That's a popular idea.
I don't know where to get it either. I don't want it I don't want it visible. Right now, you should not be able to see it.
Well, back of the shoulder is a popular place, and you're never going to see that. Even you need 2 mirrors.
2 mirrors? I think. Okay. I don't know.
2 hands.
I don't know what I'm going to do. Just help me out. I got to go. I'm going to get on a plane.
I think the smaller your back
What
is a
time you
popular
get here,
place,
bud?
too.
Huh? Oh, hey, can
What
you
time
pick
you
me
get
up?
here,
Hey,
bud?
will you pick me up? I land at 3:30. Can you pick me up, please?
Yeah. Yep.
CID.
Gotcha.
Okay, thanks. I'll text you when I land. But actually, you should be just be there at 3:30, please. 3:32. Okay. I'll see you guys later. Have a happy Thursday. I'll see you soon. I'll see you
When you come back after the weekend.
which will be Wednesday because I'm going to Virginia after this.
Virginia. We'll
Also,
enjoy the
while
Commonwealth.
we're getting a little planning going, can you be on the show Tuesday? Because I won't be here.
Tuesday, yes. I can commit to
Stays
Tuesday.
in. He'll be here. Cool. Any other?
I love when we plan shows during the show.
I do too. It's
Without looking at the calendar, I'm 90% sure.
It's one of my favorite things. I wish there's more things we could discuss, but I'm gonna go now. See ya.
All right.
Keep it moving.
Bon
Maybe
voyage.
cut to Kyle while I get up and detach myself from the apparatus.
Well, I can't hear Willie, so I'm having to listen to him through the Facebook Live, which is like 15 seconds behind you guys. So this is a really great show.
I love
Hey,
how much
I'm-
we peel back the curtain. You can see all.
Sorry that I was late. I was still on.
Difficulties.
I still had my alarm set for East Coast time.
So what are you guys doing this weekend?
So
Well, Willie's talking, so that's awesome.
There's nothing better than great radio like this. Spade, is this your you down here?
No, that's not my cord. I went on battery power this time.
Here's a little inside baseball for you guys.
We
The
can't get
cord
any more
situation,
inside baseball.
the cord situation down below here is absolutely atrocious, and Bracky's coming over.
Hey, it's KB,
Hey,
or as he's known in some circles, Brad Key.
And
Oh,
he
and he
just threw
needs-
his hands up in the air.
He needs headphone stuff.
All right, Willie,
This is very endearing
Yeah.
at this part right
I
here.
want to hear about Kido Life because every tweet you put out now, you're being that guy and doing hashtag
it's a
Kido.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle.
You should join a CrossFit gym as well, and then you can.
I'll tell
totally
you what.
complete everything.
Real talk. Like I don't know. I didn't really like research keto What happened was I was on a plane with an older gentleman from Moscow to New York City, and that's all he did was talk to me about keto before the plane took off until it landed. And so I didn't really research it or anything. I just haven't had pasta or potato or bread or in like 10 days. And I just eat meat and a lot of like cashews and peanuts and pistachios. And I feel 100% better. And no beer. I haven't had a beer in 10 days.
Well, that's
I don't know
commendable.
that I believe that.
That's fact.
I want to know, you tweeted out a picture, Will, and you're like, oh, I love this keto breakfast, and there was some like meat and eggs, lots of protein, and then a bowl of gravy. Dude, that thing was like a bowl of soup. And so you're saying that gravy is keto?
Dude, keto is kind of weird. They encourage you to eat like as much butter and bacon as you can.
And gravy?
Well,
like Southern style
I
gravy?
mean, I figured.
Or you just guessed on the gravy?
I figured if you could eat butter, here's the thing: they tell you to eat fat.
All right.
They tell you to eat fat.
Yeah, no, that's good, but I feel like we're gonna figure this out right now. Is gravy?
I'm over this keto talk.
I just want to know how many who's number one athletes are keto, and number two, Willie, to transition away from the keto specifically.
Yeah, that's fine.
How are you enjoying your time in Iowa City, and give the people some places they should go?
Okay, so that is the import to the conversation. The wrestling import to the keto talk is probably that I was starving. I got up at 4 a.m., got on a flight at 6 a.m., and I was starving, and I was like, I Googled, did the Brands brothers and the Iowa wrestlers always talk about Bluebird Diner? So I got my rental car, and I was like, Bluebird Diner, that's where I'm going to go. And here I went to the one that's like 8 miles away from the actual original one that they always talk about. So I sort of played myself there. But it was still good food. And then I tweeted that I was there, and then a bunch of Iowa wrestlers were like, yeah, this other restaurant's better.
Did you go hang out with Coach Brands yesterday like you tweeted?
Yeah. Yep. Although I sort of kind of messed up because I got there. I was texting with Tom Brands because, I text with Tom Brands and stuff.
Yeah, no
but,
big deal.
Sick, dude.
Yeah. But he's like, yeah, come over. And I was like under the impression that I was going to go and sit in the offices and just chew the fat with Tom Brands and Terry Brands and Morningstar and the whole staff. And I got there and there was guys rolling around. So like they were all in the room. So they can't have official practices yet, but they can have like optional stuff. They can't have, this blow your mind is like, because I called Christian afterwards. I'm like, yeah, there were some guys rolling around in the room. He's like, what? It's not official practice? And I was like, no, dude. I was like, it didn't dawn on me either that the official practices aren't for a couple weeks. And Christian was like, oh yeah, that's right. The date is a couple weeks from now. And it's sort of late to have official practices when they have competitions in like a month.
There are a lot of schools I noticed looking at the schedules because I've been knee-deep in schedules lately, but a lot of teams aren't really having their first competition until like the 12th or the 17th even. So they're actually postponing some big competitions until the like second or even third week.
The first day is normally October 10th. Is that what it is again this year, Bracky?
That's what I'm looking. That's what it was last year. I'm looking.
But yeah, that puts your first competition date 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
Because November 1st is the start of competition season.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
October 10th again.
It's almost like they expect these D1 athletes to be prepare themselves.
It just encourages
practice.
cheating.
Oh, to practice on your own. Yeah, I don't really see the harm in extra practices.
Well, you
Should
have
be like
you have
September
a whole,
15th.
You have a whole preseason. These guys are in shape and ready to go.
Right.
No, I know, but I bet every team probably has stuff beyond. I don't know.
Yeah,
It just seems silly to have official practice start 3 weeks before competition.
Right, and
feel
if
like
they're
it
worried
should be
about the season being
5
too
to
long
6.
and burnout and all that, it's like it's in the coach's interest not to burn their kids out anyway. So
Right.
They would know better than
Yeah.
the NCAA to make a one-size-fits-all rule.
It's just weird, though. Like, 1 month to have official practices?
Yeah.
Short
Well,
time.
since you weren't on Who's Number One on the show yesterday, do you want to make your picks, or are you gonna hide?
I don't think that my picks are going to be revelatory or like I don't think they're going to be shocking. And here's the thing. I'm reluctant to make my picks because I don't have confidence in like any of them. Like, I think they're so razor close, and for me to make a pick would just be like making picks for the sake of making picks.
Yeah, and you're running the press conference.
Yeah, that would be awkward.
Do you know what your record was for the very first Who's Number One?
No.
I went back and looked it up.
Got receipts.
You looked up my picks from the first Who's Number One?
One of my favorite things is going back and looking at old content for ideas and to see how we're doing. Anyway,
It's true. He does it all the time.
7-4 you went at the initial Who's Number One.
1 year I did really good. Actually, a year or two ago, me and you cleaned up.
We were both 9-2.
Yeah.
Hey, Will, we went through and talked about some of the matches we were most excited about. I mentioned how Jesse Ibarra and Jacasa Burks for a number 3 match is pretty rad, and then getting Saunders and Etchemendia a showcase that they wouldn't have had otherwise was also pretty cool, and have that be just the 6th match in the killer card. Anybody else we should that you think get a little spotlight on? Obviously, Kennedy Facundo is the marquee co-main event along with the 4-man bracket.
Kennedy Facundo is the one. I mean, that's the best one. But the one that I think's flying under the radar is the second match. Van Ness and Serrano. Now Van Ness doesn't have the freestyle results that these guys have, but that could be 15-13 because Serrano doesn't stop attacking, and Van Ness scores a lot on a lot of leg attacks. I mean, his match with Bartlett, what was it? It was like 35, 40 points in the national prep final. And so I think that match could be fire.
Yeah, it's a great way to lead off with these two.
I think Serrano in general is like underappreciated. I don't know, maybe because he's from Colorado. I don't know why, because so now he wrestles everywhere. He wrestles at Flow National. He wrestles at Akron. He's been in the Fargo finals 3 times. I just don't feel like there's some guys like that. There's some guys like you could be a 3-time Fargo finalist from here and he gets all the pub. And he could be a 3-time Fargo finalist from here and he just doesn't resonate as much. I thought that was one of the reasons why I really liked Rocky Elam on this card. And I don't know if it's been well circulated, but Dustin Plott is hurt. I tried to get Rocky Elam another match against Seth Shoemate at 195 because they're going to be the 1 and 2 guys at 195, but Shoemate couldn't make it. But that's why I really wanted to have Elam on the card. I was excited to have Elam on the card because I like the guys that are just about as good as anybody in the country, but they don't get the love, and I don't think the fans know how good they are. And that was the case with Rocky. And things just didn't work out, but I like guys like that. I think Serrano's a guy like that.
I'm surprised no one's mentioned Gallagher and OToole because
the battle for the Blarney Stone.
I'm really excited for that one because both guys are super offensive, and then obviously Keegan O'Toole is really funky, and I'm excited to see how Gallagher kind of handles and adapts to that because Gallagher's going to get in, and it's just like will O'Toole just automatically turn it into his points, or can Gallagher scramble with him and
it's freestyle.
Yeah,
so those scrambles are going to be wild.
Yeah.
Were you guys surprised that Patty, as the number 1 guy, chose freestyle? Because I was.
I'm a little surprised. Yeah.
No, because I think O'Toole's more dangerous in folk style.
That's true.
The far ankle scrambles would just go on for days.
Yeah, I think he can do more things in folk style than he can in freestyle.
Hey, while we got a lull, I think we should also mention a lot of people question, and rightly so, they're asking where are the girls or women's matches. We've had them in the past, and Willie, I know you tried to set those up, and there was just extenuating circumstances, couldn't get it done this year. So not that we did not want them, we absolutely did, and you went through a lot of lengths to try to get one, but I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that, but I think it's worth mentioning here while we're talking about this card.
Try to get what? I'm sorry.
Girls matches.
Match.
Or at least one.
Girls matches. Yeah, I mean, I had my heart set on Kennedy Blades and Elora, and Kennedy got hurt at the World Championships, and I didn't want to ask her. I didn't want to ask a 15, 16-year-old athlete whether they're male or female after they got hurt at the World Championships, after they got their heart broke at the World Championships. I didn't want to put them in a position that they felt pressured. Flo asked me to be on this card. I should probably do it because it's who's number one and it's FloWrestling, and I should do it. I didn't want to put that pressure on her. I didn't think it would be fair. And I mean, it was hard. It was like, if I don't ask her, does she feel slighted? If I do ask her and she's not ready, does she feel pressured? And so I just went hands off with it. I really wanted to have her involved. Awesome talent, awesome young lady that represents the sport well. And, both talent and character. And so it's sort of a bummer that we didn't, but that's what I opted to do.
The whole landscape this year for it just didn't fall into place between Kennedy's injury, and then she ended up being okay because pretty much all of the girls who we would have asked were just in Russia and may still be in Russia. I think they're doing a camp. So a lot of them couldn't have even gone. Yeah. And then some of the ones that kind of emerged in previous years, Alexis Cepeda, she dominates Fargo, and then kind of we don't see her this summer. And then Mia Palumbo dominates Fargo. We don't, she's hurt too. So between injuries and the Russia trip and then Super 32s right after with a lot of those girls doing that, it's just the competition schedule and injuries just didn't really fall into place.
Well, okay, I guess I should elaborate too and make this point clear, is that Kennedy's injury wasn't a knee, wasn't an ankle, wasn't a shoulder. Like, she got a concussion, and it looked not good. And I ain't going to mess around. I ain't going to mess around and put any pressure for somebody to return from a concussion. If it was like a rolled ankle, I would say, yeah, hey, Kennedy, if your ankle is ready, would you wrestle? I'm not going to say, hey, come back from a concussion early so that you can wrestle in this event. And then, I mean, there was another one. The one I really wanted to put together, but the weight differences just make it. It was Sage Mortimer and
Sterling Diaz.
Diaz, yeah. And that's one I think would be really fun, like high, exciting, high score, high pace.
Yeah, Diaz was great. They both were great at Fargo.
I mean, they were just too far apart in weights. It's like, it looks like they're about the same weight, but there's a significant size difference, and so.
Yeah, and again, Diaz is one of those ones that's over in Russia right now, so it just didn't work out. Yeah,
tough timing. Willie, anything else you want to mention about who's number one on the? We're approaching the eve. This is the pre-eve of the event. Anything to get people? Anything they should know? This super match is going on and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped for the super match. It's going to be different. There's been a lot of. It was last minute. Joe Kania he was a mastermind behind it. And at first I was like, I don't know, is this going to be a distraction to the main card? But, we ran more stuff on FloWrestling about ADCCs than we ever did. And, I mean, there was definitely some people that were like, okay, enough of the grappling wrestling. But there was way more people that were like, this is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool thing. And so, this guy that trains at NJRTC often that are buddies with these guys, He went ham. He's like sort of a rookie, and he made the finals of 80 cc's, which is only every other year. It's only every 2 years, and it's by far the most prestigious tournament in the world. He makes the finals out of nowhere, and so, let's keep that momentum rolling. If he's down to compete, and who knows? He's an emerging star. He just became a mega star last week. Put him on the card. Yeah, I'm down with it.
Yeah, him and Pat Downey. I don't think, even if people are not jazzed for that, it doesn't really excite them that much. If that's the case, I think they're still going to enjoy the product on the mat. I don't think either of those guys are going to hold back. And it's freestyle rules with no parterre, no mat wrestling. So they're just going to be throwing and going nuts.
Willie, can you talk about the challenges that go into putting together a pro match? Because it's something that we try to do every single year for who's number one, and a lot of times Flow Nationals too. And guys talk about wanting to wrestle and make money and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, how much do they really want to?
Yeah.
Because it's something that we see, why couldn't you do this? Why couldn't you do that on social media? But you have to get guys to agree to it, and I don't think people understand the challenges that go into it.
I mean, we had a pro match 3 out of the 6 years. We had one the first year, we had one the second year, and then when year 3 came, and it was such a hassle. Everybody says, our senior level athletes need to be paid more, including myself. But then we offered to pay senior level athletes to wrestle, and it's hard to get them to agree on stuff. And so year 3, that was the case. I'm like, what's the compelling matchup? What's the compelling matchup that would work, that people would be interested in? It's oftentimes one of the most compelling matchups we had already seen, because you've seen it at the Open, you've seen it at the trials, you've seen it here and there, you've seen it in college. And so in year 3, we were really struggling to find a match that was worthwhile, that people wanted to see, that the wrestlers themselves would actually agree upon. And so I said, I remember making a tweet and saying, we don't need a pro match. The high school card is awesome enough as a standalone event. And if you're real high school wrestling fans, if you're real recruiting wrestling fans, you'll appreciate the card for just what it is, a high school number 1 versus number 2. And some of the pro level guys, including my man Tony Ramos, took massive offense to that. He was like, "Oh, you're saying you don't need the senior level guys?" And I don't know if we need them. Number 1, and number 2, everybody made it difficult. I mean, we tried really hard to put a match together, and things just don't work out. Whether it's because they're injured, or it messes with their training cycle, or you know what? I'll just say this: we tried to get Spencer Lee a match, and it was even the Iowa staff was on board with it. They brought it up. They wanted Spencer to have a match, and so I had a couple foreigners. I mean, I had contracts made up for a couple guys, and at the 11th hour, I was like, we don't know about the compliance thing. We don't know if we can get it through compliance, even to this extent that they compliance originally said, no, it doesn't look like he'll be eligible to wrestle in an event like this. And Tom and Terry Brands were even, I think Terry was like, well, no, let's see if we can figure this out. And they called USA Wrestling. They got USA Wrestling involved. USA Wrestling talked to Iowa Compliance. And at the end of the day, it was fuzzy. Obviously, you're not going to risk a college athlete, especially Spencer Lee's. You're not going to mess with his eligibility, because it's very much different that he's in college, which to me, it's stupid. It's like, okay, they can go to the Bill Farrell, but they can't wrestle a freestyle match in your home gym. I mean, it's stupid, because NCAA bylaws are often sort of silly. But
Yeah, good intentions.
You know, and then we
but
look for
don't make sense.
alternatives. Okay, let's get Thomas Gilman. Thomas Gilman's amazing, right? He's a world medalist. Let's get him to do it. Thomas is currently in Ossetia. So there's all kinds of just problems, right? It's not as easy. It's not as cut and dry. And I certainly don't want to have. I don't want to have a match that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
Yeah, the math
just
is
to have
a lot
one,
harder
right?
than people realize of getting all the pieces of the puzzle together. It's not as simple as, all right, well, let's just get these guys. Or, oh, they're willing to wrestle, so there's accommodations, there's travel. You have to plan it way ahead of time. We're printing a fight card. All these things go into it, and it's not a spur-of-the-moment thing that you can just invite more guys. Although we did kind of just get a last-minute super match.
They were down to do it.
Yeah,
they were down to make all the concessions.
And look how much they're hyping it up just on their own. They did their own promo stuff in Jersey and then sent it out and started tweeting and
No one
ranting
would
about
accuse Nikki Rodriguez and Pat Downey of being bashful.
it. No, they want their face and everything out there as much as possible. But that's fun. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, let's knock out some
questions from friends.
Hey, before we go there,
Mess.
while he's not here to defend himself, I'd like to bring up the fact that Christian threw Kenya under the bus while he wasn't here to defend himself about snitching. But
That's his own fault.
we all would have retweeted it. It wasn't just
100%.
yeah. He's the
100%.
one that tweeted that I made a bad decision. CP
Yeah.
did about I need to get a tattoo now.
That's on him for agreeing to the tattoo.
Or
Yeah.
agree to the
He
tattoo,
snitched.
but don't tweet about it. Then it never would have come. He could agree with Jaden. Jaden would have forgot. He would have had a good story to tell whenever he wanted to tell it. Just don't put it on Twitter forever. So
He snitched on himself.
the
By-
original
yeah,
tweet
by
was from
tweeting.
CP.
He kind of did snitch on himself.
He didn't have to tweet that Jade and him had that conversation.
Oh, because he even said, Jaden's going to forget about it. Well, not if you put it on Twitter. Then
I-
everybody
I-
has to
I
forget
want-
about it.
I don't want him to get a tattoo. Listen, I do. I would love for him to experience some sort of pain and some
want
sort
him
of
punished?
malady. I want him punished, like both in the act of getting the tattoo itself, because that'll be a little bit painful, and also I want him to experience years and years of regret. However, as a friend, I'm going to advise against it strenuously. It's stupid. He shouldn't do it. What are you guys' opinions? Do you think he should get it? Do you think he should?
Absolutely,
Kyle, I know what
he
you're
should
gonna
get
say.
it.
Honor your word, right, Kyle?
Yes, and we have been on this show before, and we have heard him scream at the Wrestling Nomad for welching on bets. And
Yes, we have.
he cannot. There's no going back. He has to do this. It can be something very small. It can be where no one will ever see. That's fine, but he has to do it.
Man.
I think you should get Roy Orbison.
I just I feel like Willie, I'm leaning to your side, and I think that there's a way around
Oh,
this where
come
he still
on.
honors his word.
No,
but
there's no
not
honoring it if
a
he doesn't get a
permanent,
tattoo.
indelible mark on his physical corpus.
Y'all are weak.
Okay, I want to. Maybe he wears a bulletproof vest and somebody fires a bullet at him and just makes him
Wow,
experience pain.
that was that's not
Just
even in the
makes-
same ballpark here.
Well, listen, it's not. It will not be a
hard
lifelong
left.
thing.
All right, so Willie
It
wants to
would
shoot
just be-
CP with a gun.
So you were concerned about
What?
You're concerned. You're concerned about Katie if she knows about his tattoo or anything like that, and now you want to shoot him with a gun.
What do we do if he doesn't get a tattoo? Well, here's an
guess we
idea. We
just
should
shoot
take a
him.
gun out and shoot him.
It'll just be extremely painful.
There's other. Well, how about an arm burn, or how about we give him a wedgie or something? You're talking about shooting him with a gun?
That's the trade-off. That's the trade-off.
Look,
right.
You either get ink on your body,
You know what?
indelibly,
I'm
or I
actually
shoot
okay
you.
with that.
All right, we'll
I
bring it
told
up.
him. I told him. Listen, because all this happened like not publicly. Well, I was on the plane yesterday and I was texting him. I'm like, dude, we gotta find a way out of this. I'm like, you're gonna get like 86 tattooed on your shoulder, and then your wife's gonna think of Jaden every time you have your shirt off. That's not good for you.
I mean, maybe if she knows Or you could get shot with a gun. All right, those are your options. So we'll let CP and Jaden work that one out from there. I'm glad I don't have to make that choice.
Too bad
put myself
there's
in that situation.
Too bad there's not a 69 kilo weight class.
Oh,
That'd be funny.
But there is, isn't there? Or there was.
There used to be.
There used to be, but yeah. Too bad. And Jane can't make 69, so.
No, he can't. That would be pretty nice, though. All right, guys want to go to questions for Fred?
Yeah.
Get this back
Paul
on track.
Jacobson at K Brecky, of all the at FloWrestling staff, who will you be least likely to let babysit your child? Wow. I'm gonna have to say Nomad. I don't know the experience you've had with kids. Everyone else,
Great with kids.
Newborns, babies.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like you'll just like fall asleep or have a Tinder date or something.
Yes.
We don't play toss the scissor with babies. We play toss the baby with babies.
All right, so a ringing now you've really like set the bar of you want baby tossing level of care for your child.
Yeah.
You
Or
go
you'll
to the
just
wrestling
you'll
Nomad.
try to play like 22 shotgun tag with it or something.
Oh, that's right. You do you are familiar with the
when we
game.
were in Kazakhstan, you had to have a buzzer. You had a thing to buzz the door to get into our building because we got an Airbnb. And so me and Nomad were waiting for Bader to come back from somewhere so we
this
could get into the
happened.
building with his buzzer thing. And there was this Kazakh gentleman with a newborn baby in his arms like this, right? And his wife, and then there was also like a 3-year-old baby that was chasing him around. And the wife was trying to chase him, and they were playing tag, but the adult with the baby in his arms was trying to avoid being tagged by running around the courtyard like Bo freaking Jackson, and the baby's head
That happened.
for 20 minutes is bouncing, and I'm like, this is gonna be bad. That baby's not gonna do well in school.
Yeah.
Nomad wanted to call authorities. He was upset about it.
I was very
You want to
concerned.
call Kazakh CPS?
Yeah, I was very concerned.
Yeah, they would listen to you. They'd be like, "Oh, okay, these guys worried about the health of one of our locals here." All right. Well,
All right, so moving on. Adam Rush. Gino
I'll
has
say
the
that's Rush.
Rush. Yeah, Gino has the ability to sweep the quad next year if he wins. What are his chances to do it? And who was the last person to successfully sweep a quad?
oof. Nomad's got the cheat sheet up.
I'm saying 50-50 because
Taha.
he split with Taha last year or this year, and I still think Taha's better, but he, I don't know, melts down against him.
Why is that one of the weirder things in sports? Is that one of the weirder things in wrestling?
Yeah, the Taha can
'Cause
win
I
in Euros, but not at the Worlds.
Kill him.
well,
in
no,
Euros.
not that Taha doesn't win sometimes, but like I had to check myself. The overwhelming majority of wrestling fans in the world, I believe, think that no matter how many times Petriashvili wins, Agul's the better guy. It's like, yeah, Geno beat him here, and yeah, Geno beat him here, and Geno beat him here, Geno beat him here, but we all know Agul's better. Why do we all think that? It's that's not true.
Also, Ekul is a little bit older, so it's like he got the best of Geno like a couple years in a row while Geno was still very young.
Which one of them? I was talking to Mark Perry about this yesterday at practice. We couldn't remember. The year that Kuhn was double bronze at juniors, one of them popped. One of them won it, but
It was the
popped.
year before, and it was Geno. It was 2013.
Geno, okay.
So Mardesi's technically your 2013 junior world champ at heavyweight.
All right. Cheers to Oregon State and our friends up north.
Anyway, the last guy to win 4 in a row, Tiger Slam style, Gutsalov, he went 04 to 07. Last guy to actually sweep a quad, like starting,
Vods?
was Vods?
Fadzayev?
No, Valentin Jordanov,
Okay.
93-96.
Wow.
Besic should have done it. He was unable to.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. And then if we're going Greco, Artur Alexanian was on pace to get a Tiger Slam. And then
he did get a Tiger Slam. He went 14-17.
Well, he was on pace to get a Tiger Slam +1.
Yeah.
And then injured out, wasn't himself in Budapest.
Ichigo and Yoshida also have won.
It was not Nomad. It was not 13. It was the year Kuhn was double bronze.
It's not. This is incorrect information.
Oh, UWW. That's not. I was there. Number one. Number two. But it says that in the database. So.
All right. So while Nomad looks that up, Alex Caldwell, how does Bracky feel about Joey Gunther being on Illinois' schedule preview? Well, I think they're trolling me, Alex. I tweeted a couple angry emojis, and my best friend Joey Gunther responded with a smiley face and a heart.
Yeah, because you guys are real friends in real life. People don't realize this, that you guys have a strong
I think
bond.
this is the beginning of one of the best rivalries in sports. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. I'm sure he'll get some wins early that make him look like he is some dynamo offensive wrestler. And then it'll swing back around, and I don't know. It's going to be a good battle this year.
I'm on favor of us motivating athletes. One time, Spey motivated Corey Clark to win NCAAs by picking him 7th.
I take a small piece of that.
And maybe this
credit
year
for that championship.
Maybe this year, Bracky will motivate Joey Gunther. He'll average 12 points a match.
Yeah.
Or if he doesn't, I say win however you can. I mean, just win in advance. And if Bracky gets steamed about it, then I'd rather, if I'm Joey Gunther, I'd rather take the win.
It's actually kind of better.
Yeah.
If Joey Gunther goes in NCAAs like 22-3, he's like a 4 seed, but he wins every match by 1 or 2.
Yeah, and they're like 1-0 matches.
Yeah.
I'll lose my mind.
That's the motivation. Now you got to do it, Joey.
Meltdown.
Joey, make it happen.
Okay. I need to look at their schedule to see if that's a real possibility because now I'm scared. James Finley, what surprise AAs or blood round guys do you think will be most likely to duplicate their success at Nationals a la Chip Ness? Chip, who will show that their sneaker still fits? I like that. Good callback to last episode, James.
Yep.
I guess I need to look at the brackets, huh?
Well, is he asking, so who's going to AA that?
So who surprised us last year at NCAAs? Went on maybe a run, upset some dudes that can do it again, or just show that they're that guy now.
I like.
I think.
Go ahead, Will.
Well, I think I didn't pick Kyle Shoup to AA
That's a good
in those
one.
crystal ball rankings, but I do think he sure as heck can.
Shoop, there it is. Thought you knew.
I like that. That's a good pick.
Yeah,
I like
Shoup.
Lock Haven guys to perform well the last few NCAA tournaments in a row. As evidenced by their fans, which keep getting a larger and larger allotment of tickets because they keep getting guys in the on the podium.
That's great.
Well, what makes Shoop so dangerous is he's so good on top. He can just change a match.
Yes.
Yep. In the blink of an eye.
The only other one I would say maybe, and he was it kind of shifted because in high school he was high on the big board, but then the results didn't come right away, is Stencil.
The Tracer.
Stencil's got a lot of weird. Damn it! A lot of weird results.
Never heard you say that.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe I say it under
my
my breath
God.
too much, but that's my fave.
Hey, guys, stay woke on this.
Staying woke.
Stay woke. I'm not saying it's going to happen,
Say it.
but stay woke on Malik Heinzelman 25, Jordan Decatur 33, Luke Pletcher 41, Keyshawn Hayes 49, Sammy Sasso 57.
That seems high for Sasso. He doesn't strike me as a 57, but the rest of them kind of make sense.
He's big. Sammy's big.
Okay.
I was watching that.
I'm happy for it.
The block party we did last night of the Who's Number One matches. Sammy looked so small
He
in
did.
his match with Artelona.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm
Sammy
at.
Sammy was small at the time. If you would have told me 57 a year ago, I would have said you're crazy. But at the U.S. Open, when he had to make 70 kilograms, which is 154, he was cutting to do it.
Yeah.
How about Josh Hoke? He was a 16 seed last year. I didn't realize he was that high. I think he's a guy, depending on his draw, that can be top 3 at NCAAs.
Well, and to Willie's point,
if
the football thing is big, like just not getting a true wrestling preseason.
Yeah, and he misses the first half of the season, which is a good chance to get wins.
Right.
So it affects his seed too, right? Yeah.
Right. It definitely will. He's probably not going to wrestle until depending on how. I mean, they're going to make a bowl game, but maybe January 2nd, depending on how late their bowl game is. I would guess probably Virginia Duels, January 10th and 11th will be the first thing for him. So that hurts too, but I don't know. I think that's who him placing fifth is who he is, not a 16 seed. Yeah.
What about your guy, Devin Skatska, came on strong at the Big Tens, wrestled like a maniac, was a 9 seed.
I loved him.
Finished 8th, but maybe he's going to get back on that podium. A guy that didn't make the podium that I like, especially at 97, Thomas Lane for Cal Poly. He came real close. It was blood round. And
did he beat Warner?
He beat Warner.
But then Warner came back and placed.
Yeah, and he was like a really low seed. What was he? He was 21 seed, and I don't think he's 21 seed talent. I remember him being doing really well at the CKLV, or at least wrestling really well. And then I don't think he had. I didn't hear anything about injuries or anything. I don't know. Maybe he just didn't wrestle that well. But he came in 21 in the seeds, which is pretty low. Had blood round and looked every much the blood round guy. So
if you have Pac-12, right? If you take a loss there, it can kind of hurt you because once they get into their dual schedule, the chance for good wins is limited and the chance for bad losses is increased. So that would kind of seem to hurt him. This is a good question, though. Oh, also with the Tom Lane beating Jacob Warner thing, it reminds me about what we were talking about the last show and how we were talking about Willie's crystal ball predictions, right, and how Penn State's way ahead right now. 197 is so key for this team race between how Connell will do, and if it's not Connell, how Michael Beard will do, and then can Jacob Warner go from 7th and kind of taking some losses to, as Willie said, a finalist type guy.
Yeah.
And then if you think Beard is in for Connell, right? If he's their starting 97, I mean Jacob Warner put it on him. Now this was a few years ago. I think it was 2016 Akron Finals, but that was all Warner.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see Colin Moore and Pat Bruckey be consistent, and then everything else is completely up in the air.
Just
like
a mess,
track records or records. Nobody knows what's going to happen in that weight class except for those two guys. But if either of them don't make the finals for whatever reason, that's also not a shocker because people come from out of nowhere in that weight class. It's interesting.
All right. Brian Walters, considering what we just saw in the last 2 weeks of commits for at Chris Bono, what's the hottest stretch of commitments to a program you can remember outside of this Badger wrestling hot streak?
Oklahoma State last year got Plott, Doucette, Mastro within about 2 weeks of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was good. I guess Iowa got...
Yeah, Iowa went on a tear there last year.
Did Iowa get like Lugo, Cassiope, and somebody else all at one time? Like maybe Kennedy, all within a short period of each other. You remember that, Will? That was 2017.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure they had a cluster.
Wow, Will, you're looking real Godfather-y there. Did you just close the blinds or something?
Fully dark in there.
You got a floating head.
My computer keeps changing like its brightness.
That's rad. Keep it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's anybody that's going to have some sort of... I mean, Wisconsin just did. And I don't think that there's going to be any one team that starts all of a sudden getting a bunch of guys, although...
Oh, do you remember...
What you could think...
Go ahead, Willie, sorry.
I was just going to say, what you could think is, okay, so Oklahoma State just got all these guys. Wisconsin just got all these guys. Penn State has 2 or 3, and that's like normally what they do. They bring in small, good classes. Iowa already has a couple guys. Yeah, I think you could see Iowa reel a few in soon. And you have to look at and say, this is kind of weird. Ohio State has no one for this year. So whether it's 2020 guys or 2021 guys, you have to think Ohio State starts getting someone.
Bracky pulled up a good stretch from another Big 12 school.
Shoot, I left it. In 2016, Verclearen and Jake Aller committed to Iowa State like on the same day, and then like a day later, Anthony Mantanona committed there too, and then none of them went there.
And right around the same time, I think Ethan Smith did.
Oh yes, you're right. And then he also didn't go there. He flipped to Ohio State. That is incredible.
That's some good flippage.
Will, to your point about Ohio State, I was going through the guys who were on the card. Ohio State's in on a lot of them. Vasquez, Gallagher, Mendez, Sokol, Voinovich are all, and Travis Mastro all have Ohio State in play.
Ohio State and Iowa have a lot of overlap in the kids that they're targeting, mostly because they're the best kids in the country. But a lot of the top uncommitted guys have Iowa and Ohio State on their short list. But like Nebraska has a bunch already. Low key, Old Dominion has a lot of guys. UNI has a lot of commitments already. So I'm throwing out schools that North Carolina has a lot of. Watch for North Carolina to get some guys, particularly Georgia guys.
Yeah, they're heavy on Georgia right now.
Yeah, so
a lot of good Georgians coming up through the ranks too.
Dude, it's been insane, right? The past week with the amount of kids.
Nonstop.
Atlanta suburbs are turning into a serious place to go.
Is it a mandate that NC State brings in like 35 kids every class?
Yes.
Good.
They are high volume.
High volume.
I don't understand how it works, but good for them.
I don't understand.
They got a good pitch.
Understand how they afford it.
That's what I'm saying.
They bring in a lot of guys, and a lot of guys that you would think demand a good, decent scholarship offer them. So,
and then they've had guys. I think they bring in a ton, and then they kind of let it work itself out. Bryce Meredith ended up going somewhere else. Scott Del Vecchio is another All-American that went back to Rutgers, and Sammy Alvarez just did the same thing. Not that that should be what they're known for, but that's kind of what happens when you bring in massive classes like that. I mean, Oklahoma State gets tons of transfers too. That's just the nature of big recruiting classes.
All right, you guys ready to move on?
What else we got?
Mason Bressel. With the new flow color scheme, scrolling through the site is way more obvious in class. Any tips for hiding it before my professor catches on? Hashtag FRL help.
Good question, Mason.
Keep the brightness really low.
Yeah, night mode.
Yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go super.
What does he mean? Just like.
He's saying right is red. The new red is far brighter.
Right, but he's scrolling through social media, not the actual.
I think he means the site.
I think he means the site.
But we don't have a night mode.
He literally said scrolling through the site.
No, you just keep the brightness on your
night mode on the
down.
site. Yeah, on your computer.
All right. Well, Twitter famously has two different modes: one
phone.
night and one day. And I assume, you think he
we
means
can
scrolling
also get
through
like
his
a
computer?
filter.
Well, he says scrolling through the
Scrolling
site.
through the site.
You can scroll through the site on your phone. What? Is that such a weird thing to assume?
Well, I mean, you can on your phone too, but just keep the brightness down on there.
Yes, right.
Just
The
keep
advice is the same.
brightness down as low as possible. I think Nomad thought you meant social media. You guys
I kind of did. Well, okay. Well, when he said night mode, that's when I got confused. Sorry, guys.
I meant like informal night. Like, yes, Twitter has night mode, but I'm talking like.
And then every now and then, look up, nod your head, make eye contact with her or him.
Or my tried and true technique, which has worked many times, is you draw eyeballs on your eyelids, colored in, like get the white out or whatever, and the little pupils, and then you can just take a little nap while your teacher thinks you're wide awake. Give it a shot. Let me know how it works.
All right. Bracky's Eagle statue. If Worlds were an open tournament, nations could send more than one rep. Out of 40, how many medals would Russia win?
Another good question.
Well, I think this is a spade question because you just did the heat map.
Yeah, if you look at www.flowwrestling.org, one of the first things you'll see, besides the FRL banner, is a thing on heat maps for the 2019 Men's Freestyle World Championships. And because of transfer rules and because South Russia and actually other parts of Russia, all the good freestylers of Russia come from like the provinces, come from places that are not like Moscow or St. Petersburg. They're very much the ethnic minorities. So in Ossetian, where I guess Thomas Gilman still is in southern Russia by the Caucasus Mountains. Dagestan, extremely big hotbed, and then a little place called Tuva, which is outside Mongolia. All those places sent guys to the podium for countries other than Russia, which means they have like incredible depth. And if you look at the international rankings, they're filled with Russians. If you look at open tournaments right now, like the Urigan, Medved, what other ones am I missing? Either way, if you just look at current international tournaments that are open and Russia sends a lot of people, Poland towards the World Championship, there'll be a lot of Russians and even Russians from other countries, and then Russians from Russia will be on that podium. Now, if you have like a true open system for a World Championship where everybody is entering right now, there's cost restrictions, and not everyone is just going to enter unless they're incentivized, whether it's a prize money or it's actually the World Championships with open rules. And you mean just Russians, not Russians wrestling for other places. And however the qualifying system works, however they get there, I'm saying out of what is it? Out of 40, if there's 40,
I got an easy way of doing it.
I would say like at least 10, maybe more.
It's half. It's about half. Ivan Freestyle put out the numbers. There was 18 medalists this year that wrestled for Russia or former Russians. So if you included multiple entries, it's half or over, easily.
Right, but that is still, I mean, it's not apples to apples, but yeah, I mean, if the U.S. had multiple entries too, you got...
We would add like one medal.
We would add a couple per weight class.
We'd add like one.
There's some depth there. Iran would sneak in there too. And then the Russians, I think the question is, the Russians, like Sharifov does not count for Russia, even though he's from Dagestan. He would count for Azerbaijan.
Yeah, but if you could have multiple entries, then he would count for Russia.
No, he wouldn't. He's already in Azerbaijan.
If you could have multiple entries, though, he wouldn't leave Russia.
Yeah, he wouldn't leave Russia.
No, you don't know that. If the Azerbaijanis are going to pay him, then he's going to go whether you get multiple entries or not.
Sure.
You know
It's
what
like
I find
half or
weird?
over.
You guys follow this more than I do. What, like, there's guys that leave Russia like before they're a cadet or before they're a junior. Like, how do they know? Like,
There was
I don't know how that works.
interesting when I was looking up the people's, everybody, all the wrestlers, their hometowns. It's kind of tough. You got to use Google Translate a lot. But Tamuraz Salkazanov wrestles for Slovakia. He gave Burroughs a really tough match in, not the Kolov. Was it the Kolov?
Yeah, Kolov or Dogu.
Yeah, I think it was Dogu. Yashido, he had an early match, tough match there. And he goes on to get bronze at 79, and goose Googling around for him and all that. Read this interview that he gave, and he's a young guy. He's in Ossetia, and then what Slovakia does is they get money from their national Olympic body or sports ministry, whatever it is, and they say, "Hey, we want you guys to be competitive in men's freestyle wrestling." So they go hire an Ossetian coach, and that coach brings over like a bunch of his cadets that he was coaching, and now they have. There's 5 Ossetians that are on the Slovakian team. Makoev, who made the finals beat Jaden that one time 2 years ago, and then 3 years ago, and then there's a heavyweight and some other guys.
Gulayev.
Because somebody told me that the Gadzhiev, not the Polish Gadzhiev, the
74 from France.
No, that's Kadzhiev. That's with a K. I'm talking about with the G. He wrestled Jordan Burroughs. He wrestled David Carr. Jordan Burroughs in court. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was told that he was Ossetian or Dagestani.
It's definitely Dagestani.
Yeah, definitely Dagestani.
And he he obviously he was in Junior World. So what I'm saying is there's guys transferring countries at a really young age. Before it's like, oh well, I'm not going to win the spot because there's 5 guys in front of me,
right?
And I'll take my. It's not a Steven Mičić situation where it's like, man, I'm not going through all that. I'll just wrestle in Serbia. This kid was doing it. He's like, I'm going to do it when I'm in 8th grade.
To me, the obvious answer is you can have 1 transfer per year per age level. So you get 1 cadet, 1 junior, 1 senior. Mm-hmm. So to maximize the number of guys you get per year, you try to get a cadet and a junior.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's people with relationships. So if you have Dagestanis, and Azerbaijan and Dagestan border each other, it's all by the Caspian Sea, by the Caucasus Mountains, and you have Dagestani coaches in Azerbaijan, and you can pay these kids. You can pay the kid and his family.
No NCAA will build you over there.
You could give them however many, rubles or whatever to get them to come over at whatever age.
You're a world history kind of buff, and you follow this. At the World Championships, it happens every year. Every year during the World Championships, I start Googling stuff or going to Wikipedia and finding out these facts and looking up the history of the city or the town of the country and reading up. And Nomad was sitting there watching me he was like just shaking his head. He's like, Will, you're going down a rabbit hole here, brother. I was reading Wikipedia like all week.
Metal matches are going on.
That's my jam, though. Wikipedia on these random places like Tuva and Dagestan. Why not?
But what I wanted to say is I never realized. I guess I had heard it in passing, but I wasn't sure if it was true. But the people in the people that are in the Caucasus regions, I never realized. I guess it was a layup to some people, or like obvious to some people. They don't like Russia. Like they don't. Some of them they don't want to represent. They don't want to represent Russia. Like I don't know if Sergey loves representing Russia.
That's why you see a lot of the medal ceremony, or when they run around the mat. Saslan Romanov, he had a Ossetian flag. That's the white, yellow, and red, and that was with the red, white, and blue Russian flag. He had both of them. Dagestan is the green, red, and blue. And think of Russia. The Russian Federation, as it's constituted today, is not so much of a nation state the way Poland is full of mostly Polish people. France is full of almost always, all French people. Russia is like 80% Russians, but then 20% people that are. So the Russian passport will have two names on it. It'll say you're a Russian citizen, and then it will say what your nationality is. And all the Dagestanis and Ossetians and Tuvans and Khanty-Mansi and all these other places, it will say that ethnicity or that nationality or Kabardino. All these other things, there's like dozens of them, and they are not. And ethnic Russians and people in Moscow that like hockey and soccer do not consider the Dagestanis. They're the mountain people. They are not actual Russians, and that makes it a much easier proposition for you to get them to transfer. If you're in Azerbaijan, you have a lot. Azerbaijan and Dagestan have a whole lot more in common than Dagestan and St. Petersburg or Moscow.
Well, you can just see the Dagestanis were all rooting for each other, right? When Musakayev was on the mat, they were all going crazy. When Nurov was on the mat, they're all going crazy. When Gadjiev was on the mat, they're all rooting for each other in part because of what Spade's talking about. They're like, you don't want to represent Russia? Cool, but you're still going to wrestle, right? Win medals? Awesome.
Yeah, and think of them more as like colonies that, Britain and almost every other European power decolonized. So that, if you're in Africa or the Caribbean or all these other places, you don't have they don't consider themselves French citizens or Dutch citizens or British citizens anymore. There are their nationalities of where they are, but Dagestan, Ossetia, blah blah blah, all the places I just mentioned are very much dual citizenships. It's the closest analogy we have in the U.S. is Puerto Rico and the United States, and so that's why it's not. Like you said, it's not, you don't grow up thinking like, rah, rah, I'm going to root for Russia. I mean, Chechnya was literally fighting wars for the better part of the 1990s with Russia, meaning like tanks rolling through cities and bombs being dropped on everybody. And that was in the 90s. That's not a long time ago for a lot of these guys.
It's like right around the time a lot of them were born.
Yeah, and that's kind of the reason why in the 90s a lot of people don't, and you don't bring it up to discount the success the U.S. had, but there's a reason Russia was weaker in the 90s, and it's because the region where all their best wrestlers were coming from was fighting a hot war. Well, like I said, with snipers and tanks and military running rampage all through the territories. So it's an interesting thing. Nice little tangent. I like to indulge on that.
We got one more
I like to talk too. We're boring, Kyle.
No, I'm good.
This is a good one to close on. FloWrestling and YouTube are going offline forever starting tomorrow. You can save one wrestling match to rewatch as much as you want. Which match does everyone pick? It's a good one to close on. I will start.
One match. I was going to say, I feel like you have something in mind.
I will take any of the three, probably the Olympic match of Chamizo and Asgarov.
You love that match so much.
Freaking incredible.
It's good. I got one ready. Andrew Alton versus Eric
Yes.
Grajales.
That's what I'm talking about.
That was a roller coaster thrill a second. You didn't know what was going to happen. Who was going to gas out for? They were both gassed.
Yeah,
And
they
it
were
was-
both gassed.
I live for those matches. I think you all know that when there's like somebody gassing hard, I like get in the Slack chat. I'm like, guys, get on this. Watch this match now. This guy is, and I'm empathizing with the guy that's gassed because I was a notorious gasser when I wrestled in high school.
We love meltdowns, and maybe because you got me thinking about that, but the one that comes to mind for me is Ethan Lezak versus Thomas Gilman.
Tremendous.
And just everything that happened with it, like you're like, oh my God. Okay, he got the first takedown. Cool. All right, Gilman's going to get out. Okay, no, he's not. Oh my God, he's getting back points. Oh my God, it's the third period and he's losing. Holy crap, Lezak's going to die. Oh my God, he's going to pin him. And then like Gilman's reaction and the Iowa bench like came out onto the mat and the Minnesota fans are booing Gilman. And the look on
tremendous.
Lezak's face, like, what the hell
What
just
just
happened? It is like the whole thing is just incredible, and then everything that came after with it, like did he gas him from bottom? And then Lezak confirms to us he gassed him from bottom. Like the whole thing is just incredible.
Willie?
You can't gas people from bottom. One of you guys remember? I think it was Jesse Lang. Was it Jesse Lang and
Darian
who
Caldwell?
was the,
Yes.
what was it?
It was,
Gary Caldwell.
141, like
Ryan
quarterfinal
Lang.
round of 16.
Ryan
Yeah,
Lang.
Ryan Lang.
Yes, Darian Caldwell. That was incredible. It was, and the crazy thing
Lang
is
is
it
the
lasted
owner of
like a
Bruce.
minute and a half.
Yeah, it was like 90 seconds.
The match is like 90 seconds.
Limbs flying.
It's 90 seconds of tornado.
Yeah, look that one up. That one's an older one on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Any of Burroughs' matches when he was younger against like Sargouche, like
David Taylor, U.S. Open.
yeah, just I don't know, especially when the earlier matches, it's so like now you take it for granted, like yeah, he's gonna be the best in the world, he's gonna medal, he's gonna beat just about everybody. But then it was like Sargouche was this 2-time reigning world champ. Those were just fun, and then you get either Bader or Gary Abbott doing the narration when you look up the matches.
Oh man,
Willie?
Willie, you got any more matches?
One of the Spade. There's millions that I'm not giving proper credit to, probably, but Spade with someone gassing makes me think. First of all, JD Rader's Twitter feed, the Twitter thread of Musakayev.
Oh yeah,
It's fresh in my memory, so I'm thinking of that one because Musakayev is he's just a gem. He is must watch. But do you guys remember Jay Borschel, just absolutely
Heinrich?
in the quarters of the semis, melting down Chris Heinrich from Virginia?
Yes.
It was like, this isn't going to happen, is it? Yup, this is happening. And Heinrich was up big, like by 8 points or
Like
something.
8-0, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that one to me was like, wow.
I know what Nomad, your dad, and my dad would pick.
What?
Trench Lambert.
That'd be good.
Because that was one of the few NCAA finals that comes down to a last-minute Hail Mary that actually worked.
Popolobs might also
Roan.
go.
That was Roan?
Mm-hmm.
Rob Roan.
Clement.
Yeah.
Well,
Trench never got a championship. He had the eye injury. Good call, Willie. Thanks for the correction.
He lost to Sanderson in the finals, I think, right?
Yeah.
I want to say, yeah.
Stuff
Okay.
got to have in your bracket.
I think my dad would go Daryl Burley beating Mike Land.
All right,
back
now
in
we're
the day.
going way
Hey,
back.
hey.
My dad loves Daryl Burley too, but I don't. That's a tough one. That's gonna take some education to get people up to speed on
That's
that.
my dad's practice partner.
Congratulations.
That's his boy.
In case
All of our dads going back.
In case you guys didn't know, their dads wrestled at Lehigh.
Oh, my dad did.
Yeah.
My dad watched at Lehigh. My dad was a Lehigh
okay.
wrestling fan.
Sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
He's not getting anywhere near that bad.
We got flights to catch, or I have a flight to catch.
We got
When
work
you
to
boys
do.
get in?
I get in 12 hours.
Only
He's
one.
the
only
only
one boy.
going.
Yeah. Me and Bader on the
Kyle,
same
you're not
flight.
coming?
No, Joe's coming. I'm on baby watch until
Baby
Oh, yeah.
watch.
2019.
Are you also going to be on Panda watch
Come
at
out,
the
you
same time?
stupid panda.
Kyle, what's the best game on Flow Football this weekend?
The best game on Flow Football is number 2 James Madison going to number 24 Stony Brook.
My Seawolves.
Yeah,
My Stony Brook Stony Bees.
2 4-1 squads. Stony Brook's been in the playoffs the past 2 years. JMU's the bully in the CAA.
And
Okay,
Nomad's alma mater.
Yeah, can Stony Brook pull the upset?
Nomad, what's your favorite JMU wrestling match?
The last time they won a
all right.
CAA title.
Who's number 1?
Who's number 1?
Watch it.
Saturday,
Yeah.
6 p.m. Eastern,
Don't miss
5
it.
p.m. Central. Caitlin, play that music, please. There it is. Thank you guys for tuning in, as Christian would say, to 412 episodes
Shout out
of
Pittsburgh.
Flow Wrestling Radio Live. Shout out who?
Pittsburgh, 412.
Pittsburgh? Oh, yeah. 412. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you Tuesday.
Bye-bye.